Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Josh.
And I'm Erin.
And today we're talking about 5 lies in bourbon and why they're not true.
Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer. Before we begin today's episode, we want to give a quick shout-out to our patron, Dennis Weedman.
Dennis, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Dennis got on the train early.
Yeah, he did.
Can't thank him enough for his support. On today's video, we're talking about 5 prevalent lies in bourbon and why they're not true. But first, Erin, how you doing?
Good. Sunday, I'm sleepy, as usual.
Sunday, it's nap day. That's just the way we roll around here on a Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
But we're here filming. I'm excited about this topic because this is something that we have both kind of come to grips with, not just in the world of bourbon, but we're going to hit on some even bigger issues that bourbon is just a small part of. But before we get into all that, if that's not a cliffhanger enough of a teaser, we're going to do a quick review on what's in our glass, which is Barrell Seagrass. So this is a rye whiskey, and it's been finished in many things. It's been finished in Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels.
Ooh.
118 proof from Barrell Craft Spirits. This stuff has been getting a lot of accolades from a lot of people. It's a very interesting pour. Let's get into it and see what we think. Wow. On the nose, it is really rich.
It smells like alcohol. I don't know.
To me, I know it's a rye, so to me it smells like a rye. I'm getting some rye type notes on the nose, kind of a minty note. But there's just more complexity there from those other barrels that it's been finished in.
Oh, that's a journey.
Oh, wow. And then it hits you with something different on the finish.
Like I got like the apricot up front, and then it kind of like burned a little bit, like minty down my throat. Like ooh.
I'm kind of getting that apricot brandy on the back end.
Ooh, I'm getting it up front.
I'm feeling it on the finish, and it's just really lingering around quite a lot. It has a long finish to it. 118 proof is a fairly hefty proof point, and it's got some kick to it.
Oh, it's funny because I definitely taste like fruit, but it's not sweet, like sugary sweet you think with fruity flavor. Like I taste like apricots, or apricots as you say. Yeah,
it has a tempered sweetness like a lot of ryes do. And sometimes finished ryes, to me, being not as much of a rye fan, the finishing brings in a little bit more sweetness. I'm finding I really like toasted ryes that have been finished in a second toasted barrel to give them a little bit more of a sweet influence. This right here, it almost has some like tropical vibes to it.
I feel like this gets 2 thumbs up from me.
2 thumbs up?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I've never tried anything like it.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else similar that I could get.
That's fair.
Cheaper or easier. Like this is something that I've not tried before, and it's a good thing. Like I like it.
Yeah.
So it gets 2 thumbs up.
It is a very unique product for sure.
Yeah.
On flavor alone and looking at the bottle here, I would give it 2 thumbs up as well. I don't know with all that finishing how it would do in a blind tasting format unless it was up against something else that had also been finished. There's just a lot going on that could kind of seem weird or sideways in a blind situation. Unfortunately, this is a limited release item to some extent, at least. I don't know if Barrell's going to continue doing these or not. This is bottle 7,458. So certainly not a completely limited run.
Yeah.
But it is a product that I don't think is going to be regularly available. That said, it's probably going to pop onto the market and off the market periodically as they make more batches. But this stuff is very good.
Is it affordable?
It's $90.
Okay.
It's $90. So kind of a higher price point. Barrell Craft Spirits prices their bourbon batches and their finished batches up around that $90 price point. So it's not inexpensive, to be sure. But this one in particular is quite unique. We have a bottle of Barrell Dovetail, which is a finished bourbon. And I don't feel like it's nearly as unique as this. I don't know that if we finish that bottle of Barrell Dovetail, I don't know if we'll replace it. But this bottle, I would absolutely replace.
Yeah.
I'd like to keep one of these around for sure.
It's different in a good way.
It is. All right, that's it for our quick review. Let's get into our main topic today, talking about 5 lies in bourbon that we think steal some of the joy out of the hobby.
Yeah. Lie number 1, there's good bourbon and there's bad bourbon.
Yeah, I mean, taste is so subjective, and we've talked about this on our channel before, and we really highlight this in our double blinds.
Yeah.
A lot of our list today is informed by things we've learned during our double blinds head-to-heads that we've done. Taste is so subjective. I mean, think about...
What's good to you might not be good to me.
Yeah.
What's good to me might not be good to someone else.
Yeah. Think about music or movies. Like, those are things based on taste. Like, whiskey is literally taste.
Yeah.
But music is taste. Movies are taste. And sometimes you want to watch a gut-wrenching, Grammy award-winning, or Oscar award-winning, or whatever award show that wins
Oscars.
awards. Okay, that one.
Grammy's music.
Okay, that's fine too. Or listen to a Grammy award-winning album.
There you go.
Or an Oscar award-winning movie. You want to watch that. And other times, you just want to watch a Will Ferrell comedy.
I mean, can you blame him?
And it's not that either one is better than the other. Maybe one's more critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you're in the mood for a Will Ferrell comedy, you don't want to watch The Revenant. You don't want to watch, Schindler's List or something like that.
Yeah.
You just want to have a good time and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And whiskey's no different.
It's hard to put subjective or objective rules on a subjective subject.
And it's, again, using the movie and music analogies. There's music I love that you don't like. There's music you love that I don't like. Same for movies, same for whiskey.
Line number 2, more expensive bourbon is better.
I mean, that's just false.
Yeah.
That's just false.
It's just false. And we found that out, like, if you've seen any of our blind head-to-heads, when you don't know what you're drinking, you could be drinking a $150 bottle of wine. You could be drinking...
She's got wine on the mind.
You could be drinking a $150 bottle of bourbon next to a $40 bottle of bourbon, and you don't know which is which, and they both taste the same. Price doesn't always mean better.
Yeah. Oftentimes, from just a pure business standpoint, price really comes down to production costs. The bottle design can lead into it, the marketing they put behind it. Maybe there is some kind of rarity or something going on that makes it more costly. But a lot of times, it's priced where it's priced from a business perspective, not from a quality perspective.
Line number 3, hard to find bourbon is better.
Again, categorically false. We've proven this again, time in and time out on our blind head-to-heads. You can be tasting some rare, hard to find, allocated bourbon next to an available bourbon, and the rare allocated product most of the time doesn't stand out as a rare allocated product.
Right. It's not until after you find out what it is that you're like,
right.
Oh, I should have liked it more.
And that goes into your experience of, like, you see the rare allocated bottle, you know that it's rare and allocated, and then that influences your experience and it makes it taste better to you. Or for some people, if they paid a lot of money for that, they look at that and then they taste it. And the fact that it's rare and allocated and they paid a bunch of money for it and they taste it and it doesn't taste like what they paid, then they get upset and they say it's not worth it.
Right.
Either way, looking at the bottle can influence you in a positive or negative way depending. But when you take all that bias out of the equation and you go just with the whiskey in the glass, our double blind head-to-heads show that it doesn't stand out unless maybe you have a really, really refined palate. If you're like a pro whiskey taster, then this probably doesn't apply to you. You're probably not watching this video anyways.
Yeah. Line number 4. You need the popular bottles to be a real enthusiast.
That's just not true either.
It's fake news.
And we put this on the list because of social media.
Yeah.
Neither of us are on social media much anymore, but when you're looking at social media, it doesn't matter if it's whiskey or any other hobby.
Any hobby.
When you're on social media, what you're seeing is a highlight reel.
Or life, just in general. Someone's life.
Yeah.
Not even a hobby.
But you're seeing everybody's highlights, one after the other after the other.
Yeah.
And so you might see that John got a bottle of George T. Stagg, and Jim got a bottle of Weller 107, and Jane got a bottle of Blanton's, and Susie got a bottle of, whatever.
Yeah.
And you see all these things, and you start looking around at your whiskey that you have, and you don't have all those things. Or maybe you have one, or maybe you have two, but you're not seeing the culmination of what social media is presenting you. And for that matter, God forbid you put a bottle of Wild Turkey 101 on social media and it gets 2 likes, and then you're like bummed out about what is a good whiskey.
So that's all about the likes.
But you don't get the social accolades that you would have gotten had you posted some hyped up bottle. It's really unfortunate to me because in a in a culture, in a day and age where social media is so prevalent, it can really steal people's joy.
It can make you unhappy with what you have, and you can consider yourself less than because you don't have Blanton's like a real whiskey enthusiast does, or you don't have whatever, Pappy Van Winkle, insert bottle here. And it can cause dissatisfaction with what you do have. And I mean, honestly, if you have any at all, consider yourself blessed.
Yeah. Social media feeds FOMO, and we're pretty anti-FOMO here, which is a big reason why we're really not on social media very much. If you are on social media and you do like that aspect of the hobby, there definitely are some great aspects to using it. But as always, it's really important, I think, from just a mental health standpoint, to keep it in perspective, to know that what you're seeing, nobody can have everything. So if you're seeing somebody that does have everything, you don't even know what they paid for it. Maybe they paid over retail for all of it, and maybe that's something that you don't agree with.
Right.
So even if you see it, I heard this thing a long time ago. It said, believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. And I think there's probably a lot of situations where that doesn't apply, but social media is probably one where it absolutely does.
Absolutely. Line number 5, scoring holy grail bottles is what this hobby's all about.
I mean, by the very nature of the hobby, if you're drinking your whiskey, at some point that bottle's going to disappear.
Yeah.
It's not going to exist anymore.
Unless you don't drink it, and then why have it?
Well, and some people do collect, and that's a whole nother aspect. Okay. And if you are somebody that actually does collect rare and hard to find whiskey, then more power to you. I've never had that collector gene in me. I know you don't collect anything either. No. We're more practical.
Get rid of it all.
Yeah, that's a very true statement. I got to watch everything around here to make sure she doesn't throw it out
when I'm not looking. Clutter.
But I mean, realistically speaking, like we got this last holiday season, there was a lot of raffles in town, and I got a George T. Stagg. That bottle's almost gone now. I opened it up. I've shared it with friends. And let me tell you, as good as that whiskey is, and it is good whiskey, it's not mind-blowing. It's not, toe-curling. Yeah. It's good whiskey. Just like so many other bottles are, so many things that are available on the shelf. And honestly speaking, I'd rather share a mediocre bottle of whiskey with an amazing person than I would share an amazing bottle of whiskey with a mediocre person.
That's fair.
And if I'm sitting around enjoying amazing whiskey by myself, then that means I'm enjoying amazing whiskey with a mediocre person. So, point being, share your bottles, because honestly, talking about looking at a bottle and having that influence your subjective experience, I can guarantee you, if you take the bottles that you have, whether they be rare or available
Holy Grail
or
bottles,
otherwise, and you take those bottles and you go share them with friends and you make memories that way,
that's what this hobby's about.
That's what it's all about.
Sharing is caring.
You're going to be way happier with what's in your glass if you're sharing it with somebody that you care about, rather than just holding on to a bunch of hyped up bottles.
So that's it for today. What do we have for other stuff?
Other stuff this week is in the video description below. It's 3 different videos. One is to Danny Carey, which is the drummer for the prog metal band Tool.
Okay.
The second one is going to be to Bon Iver, and the third one is going to be to Lady Gaga. Now, how are these 3 things connected? How do we go from like indie alt, whatever Bon Iver considers himself, to progressive metal to Lady Gaga? Well, what is down there are 3 different performances that I find inspiring.
Yeah.
We talked about making good memories with whiskey, and sometimes you do just want to sit around and have a really great pour all by yourself, or maybe with a significant other. And I'm going to suggest that you pick whichever one is in your musical lane. I'd say watch all 3. Lady Gaga's not in my musical lane, but what I'm putting down there will make your hair stand on end.
Yeah, she's talented.
She is very, very talented. And I think that everything that's down there, it's inspiring to see people who are really, really good at what they do. And it's something else to watch. Like the Danny Carey video, I don't understand how the human brain and body can work that way. It's a fantastic song. Pull up a new window, pull up the lyrics to the song, check it out. It's a really good song, a really good message behind the song. The Bon Iver is just, I've showed this to people for years, and I have people that still, friends that will say, I don't even like that music, but I will watch that video, and it's just a studio set. Keyboards, vocals, Super simple. And then the Lady Gaga, I think she was on Howard Stern. It's been a minute since I've watched that one, but it's just her and a piano, and her vocals and her talent are just out of this world. Each of them is close to 10 minutes long, if not a touch over. Pull them up, pour you a glass of something that's your favorite whiskey to sip on, and just sit down and have an experience. Preferably with good headphones if you have them, or if you have a really nice home audio system. It's just an absolutely good way to kill a little bit of time, work your way through a pour, and hopefully come out of it feeling a little bit inspired. And if this channel inspires you to support it, then you can do so in our Patreon. Yeah, Segway pros around here. Like, just Photoshop me on a Segway. Call me Segway Steve.
Oh my gosh.
I hope that doesn't stick. But nonetheless, check the video description below for our Patreon link. You can support the channel over there. You can join our community. As we said, we're not really on social media, but we're a young and growing Patreon community, and we hope it's going to be a real resource to whiskey enthusiasts out there. Down in the description, you can also find the dates to our next live stream. We live stream once a month. We try to make it an event, put a theme around it, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Check that for the dates and times below. It's coming up, and it's also kind of like a good virtual happy hour that we get to have with you guys that want to tune in.
Thank you for watching today's video. If you haven't noticed, we're actually a channel about conversation and community disguised as a whiskey channel, and the whiskey is just what brings us together and starts the conversation. So leave a comment below if you want to continue the conversation. We'll be in there checking up, talking back. Let us know if you've had this Barrell Seagrass before and what you think of it. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely different, definitely unique.
And also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
If you like it, like it.
If you like it, like it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can keep seeing our videos.
And hit the bell.
Hit that bell notification too.
Yeah.
It'll tell you when we post.
Till next week, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.